Hello students, welcome to today's lesson where we will dive deep into the world of algebra by understanding key algebraic vocabulary. Algebra allows us to discuss mathematical ideas in a very general and versatile way. You might already be familiar with using letters like X or Y in place of specific numbers. These letters act as placeholders, letting us talk about broader concepts. Today's lesson is structured to help us expand our algebraic vocabulary, which is essential for being precise about the mathematical concepts we're exploring. First, we will discuss what algebraic expressions are and how they differ from numerical expressions. They allow us to represent numbers and operations in a general form using variables. Then we will move on to understanding what equations and inequalities are and how we use them to represent relationships between different algebraic expressions. Lastly, we will learn about simplifying expressions. These are crucial skills for solving algebraic problems and making complex expressions more manageable. Let's start by considering a simple arithmetic problem. Suppose we want to describe the sum of an unknown number and 5. Without algebra, we would have to specify the number each time we talk about it. However, using algebra, we can write this as x plus 5. Here, x is a placeholder for any number we might be considering. To talk about arithmetic and algebra in a general manner, we need more vocabulary and notation. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be comfortable with new terms and notations that will make algebra much easier to navigate. Let's go ahead and jump into the lesson. Firstly, let's talk about algebraic expressions. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that can include numbers, variables, and operation symbols. Unlike numerical expressions, which only consist of numbers and operation symbols, algebraic expressions use variables to represent unknown values. For example, 3x plus 4 is an algebraic expression where 3 is a coefficient, x is a variable, and 4 is a constant term. The plus sign is the operation symbol. Expressions like these allow us to generalize and work with numbers without needing to specify their exact values. Next, we move on to equations and inequalities. An equation is a statement that two algebraic expressions are equal. It uses the equal sign to show this equality. For instance, 2x plus 3 equals 7 is an equation. To solve it, we find the value of x that makes the equation true. Inequalities, on the other hand, show that one expression is greater than or less than another. They use the following symbols. For example, 2x plus 3 is greater than 7 is an inequality. Both equations and inequalities help us describe and solve problems involving relationships between different quantities. Lastly, let's discuss simplification. Simplifying an expression means reducing it to its simplest form. This often involves combining like terms, which are terms that have the same variable raised to the same power. For instance, in the expression 3x plus 2x, we can combine the like terms to get 5x. We can do this because they both have the same variable x and are both raised to the same power of 1. To recap, algebraic expressions allow us to use variables to generalize numbers and operations. Equations and inequalities help us describe relationships between expressions. Simplification is key for making expressions easier to work with. By mastering this vocabulary, you'll be better equipped to understand and solve algebraic problems. Let's start by applying our understanding of algebraic expressions with a simple example. Consider the expression 4x plus 7. Here, 4 is the coefficient, x is the variable, and 7 is the constant term. Suppose we want to evaluate this expression when x equals 2. Firstly, substitute 2 for x in the expression to get 4 brackets 2 plus 7. Then multiply 4 by 2 to get 8. Then add 7 to get 15. So when x equals 2, the value of the expression 4x plus 7 is 15. Now let's look at an equation. Consider the equation 3x plus 5 equals 14. To solve for x, follow these steps. First, subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. This gives us 3x equals 9. Next, divide both sides by 3. This gives us x equals 3. So the solution to the equation 3x plus 5 equals 14 is x equals 3. Let's try an inequality now. Consider the inequality 2x minus 4 is greater than 6. To solve for x first, add 4 to both sides of the inequality. This gives us 2x is greater than 10. Next, divide both sides of the inequality by 2. This gives us x is greater than 5. So the solution to the inequality 2x minus 4 is greater than 6 is x is greater than 5. Next, let's simplify an expression. Consider the expression 5x squared plus 3x squared. To simplify this expression, you need to combine the like terms. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable raised to the same power. In our case, the like terms are the two x squared terms in the expression. We can combine these together by writing 5 plus 3 x squared. We can then simplify this to 8x squared. By working through these examples, you can see how to apply the concepts of algebraic expressions, equations, inequalities, and simplification. Keep practicing these steps with different numbers and expressions to become more comfortable with them. In today's lesson, we began by discussing algebraic expressions, which are mathematical phrases that include numbers, variables, and operation symbols. These allow us to generalize numbers and operations by using variables to represent unknown values. Next, we explored equations and inequalities. We learned that an equation is a statement showing two algebraic expressions are equal using the equal sign. For example, 2x plus 3 equals 7 is an equation, and solving it involves finding the value of x that makes the equation true. Inequalities, on the other hand, show that one expression is greater than or less than another. We also covered simplification. This involves reducing an expression to its simplest form by combining like terms. For instance, 3x plus 2x simplifies to 5x. This lesson provides a basic background on the key techniques and vocabulary used in algebra, so make sure to refer back here if needed. Watch the rest of the GCSE Maths course at Sophos Education.